right, everybody. Welcome to the second episode of the Connecticut Esports podcast. My name is Mark Kilpatrick, and I am one of your hosts today. By way of background, this podcast is going to focus on the success stories, the information, the things that we really want people to know that are happening right here in the state of Connecticut. So we're going to have a lot of really exciting guests that are going to be able to help you understand what's working, what's not, what we need to do to gain more acceptance for the esports scene. Particularly, we want to just increase conversations. We want to make sure we're breaking down stigmas and bringing people together around this topic. Today, you can expect some laughter. We got close to some tears on the last episode, and really just an understanding that this industry is built on perseverance, blood, sweat, and tears. And I can't speak to that enough. So the guest that you're going to see today is going to be able to talk about that, and the guests that you see throughout this podcast. But at the end of the day, this is going to be no fluff. We've got some prompts. You'll see some cards up on stage, but this is just going to be conversation about the industry. So let's get into it. I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors. We're very early on as a podcast, but we have some amazing local companies that are here to support us. We have Aquila's Nest Vineyard, who's provided some drinks for tonight, as well as Reverie Brewing right here in Sandy Hook, Connecticut. And then tonight we were able to get some pastries from Uncle Matt's Bakery down the road, and we can't thank them enough. I want to send a special shout out to the individual who's behind the camera, Joshua Sear, who's really bringing this to life and making it all possible. Can't thank him enough. And finally, I'm not going to say this every episode, but this guy deserves a lot of credit for us being here. Jeffrey Spencer shot our first episode on his Sweeten Up podcast. He entertained me by bringing it into our studio and doing a video segment. So Jeff, this is for you, man. We appreciate you. If you haven't checked him out, check out Sweeten Up podcast. Just enjoy that and check out episode 117 in particular. Over time, we'll be building up a little more focus and a little more sponsorship and support around the podcast. So we appreciate you all for being here. So with that, we're going to jump into our second episode, and I could not be more excited to introduce the group that's here with me today. I'm going to start with my hosts here. We've got three hosts. I've introduced myself, but we also have Kate Peterson, Director of Programming at Affinity Esports, and we have Jonathan Martin, the Director of Esports at Post University. So excited to have them. Just a little note, we're going to have a rotating range of hosts here that come in from time to time. So you're going to also see Emily Kilpatrick, my co-founder at Affinity Esports and Connecticut Esports, Dr. Roger Karamanica, the program chair at Post University, as well as Taya Lionetti, who is in sales with, I always have to check this, the Connecticut Convention and Sports Bureau. An amazing group of hosts for you. Without further ado, I want to introduce you to our guest. So joining us today on our second episode is a true titan here in Connecticut. I want to introduce you all to Hector Navarro. Awesome. Hector has an amazing past in the esports industry here, especially in Connecticut and in the Waterbury area. He is currently the chair of the board of directors of Brass City Gamers. He is also a board member for the People's Place, which I'm excited for him to tell you more about, in Waterbury, as well as Connecticut Esports, this organization right here. Former roles and focus included the Board of Education Commissioner in Waterbury. And I've just got to say something a little personal here about Hector. One thing that's always stood out to me in this industry is how genuine people really stand out, people who really care about it. And every time I've seen this guy, he brings such just a genuine, raw energy to the space. And I couldn't be more excited to welcome you to the podcast.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
So welcome. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited about this and our journey for collaboration here.
It's awesome. Awesome. So we're going to get straight into it. We're going to start off with some questions about your history and get to know you a little bit more. And I'm going to kick it over to Kate Peterson.
For sure.
All right. What's up, Hector?
Hey, Kate.
I first have to point out that Hector has some really cool shoes. I'm so distracted
by them. I saw him right when I walked in. I was
so
like, I
cool.
hope he's getting the shoes on camera.
Yeah, they look fantastic.
Put them up there. Put them up there.
So
Are those special editions?
No, they're just
Oh my goodness.
I'm jealous. All right.
Mine are all scuffed. Yeah,
mine are.
Cover my
What are the stats on those? +5 charisma, +10 movement speed.
Yeah,
absolutely.
For sure.
I like it.
Definitely.
I run
the charisma.
faster with these on.
Best in slot.
Up on the speed.
Fantastic. All right, so I'd love to get started. Hector, if you could give all of us like your gaming origin story. How'd you get into gaming? How'd you get into esports?
Yeah, I think for me, gaming has always been a thing, like in my household. I grew up with a single mother with 4 boys. So as soon as the Sega Genesis came out and the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, like it was just, that's what I would always get. Like that's what I would always play with. But it wasn't really until Nintendo 64 that allowed 4-port controllers that we were able to play together. We would always have to take turns, this and that, right? So it gave me a sense of, teamwork and of course arguing and going back and forth with my younger siblings. But that's kind of what moved my path towards like gaming, and I've always just been passionate about it. I was a little scrawny kid. I couldn't do any traditional sports in high school, and back then there wasn't streaming or there weren't any careers for gaming like there are now. So there wasn't really a career path as it exists today. So back then it was just playing with my friends, having them come over to my house, and then we play a couple of rounds of Smash or some Mario Kart or something like that, and going over to them. This was before online play and all of that.
So wait, you guys played Mario Kart and then you stayed friends?
Yes.
That's how that works?
Ironically.
Wow.
Ironically, yeah.
Impressive.
I almost
Those are
broke
good
up with my
friends.
cousin over that.
Those are good friends. So it was
She was
good
so
friends.
good at Rainbow Road. Oh man,
No, we never touched Rainbow Road because we knew
on N64.
we knew
Brutal.
that.
Rainbow Road is where friendships go to die.
Yes.
I couldn't get rid of my cousin. I'm related to her. She's unreasonably good at Rainbow
She's
Road.
fantastic.
I was gonna say you
She's a
broke
lovely
up with
person.
cousin.
I almost.
How does that work?
Almost had to see her at the holidays, even if she beat me every time.
That's hysterical.
Oh dear.
So, how'd you kind of segue into your professional role in gaming and esports?
Yeah, so it wasn't really until I went to the military when I was 18, and a lot of our field ops that we would go to train for Iraq and whatnot, like they were just always training, and we would always have a generator of some sort. And I remember going specifically to this operation in Yuma, Arizona. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to bring my CRT monitor and my GameCube with me, and we're going to play some Smash. And that's when it kind of livened this thing inside me where this is something, right? Like you got a bunch of military Marines that are in a field op doing something. And if it wasn't for this gaming opportunity, we're in the middle of the desert, like we wouldn't have had the camaraderie, the laughter, the enjoyment of all these things that we could have done. So that kind of clicked in my head, like even in the midst of stress and being tired and all of this, like you could have gaming in there to be able to just motivate and allow us to have some sort of time down to relax, unwind, and deal with things in a chill way.
Yeah, I've never thought about utilizing gaming in that particular venue or arena, but it seems like it would be a huge weight off a lot of your shoulders in a very stressful time. Hot. You said Yuma, Arizona?
Yeah.
That just sounds brutal in a lot of ways.
It was, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
it was definitely desert training for Iraq.
Yeah, that's.
So-
I can see how have a little bit of levity with some Smash Bros and messing around would really change the dynamic there.
Yeah, and it was the same when we deployed to Iraq, right? Like we would have some folks that would bring their Xbox 360s or their PlayStation 2s, and we would play some games while we were out in operations, just to be able to have that mental break of just
Yeah.
seeing constant nonsense in a military environment, right? So understanding that as a 19-year-old deployed to Iraq and then coming back home and seeing that there's opportunities for a mental health check and a connection between that, something that I didn't see back then when I was a kid just playing video games at home, right? And it's like this is real. There's something powerful here. There's something that can be touched, that can be grasped, that we can roll out and deploy to our communities.
Do you think that was more valuable to you guys as an escape from the everyday struggles of what you were doing, or was it more valuable as like a camaraderie builder and like a kind of a vibe builder for your squad?
I think it's a hybrid of both, right? Like it was definitely that camaraderie builder, but it was also that escapism of like, yo, we're in the shit, right? Like we're in the middle of war, and like we need to escape mentally and feel like we're not in this present moment. And I think that's the case for a lot of our kids in communities that are just unsupported and that don't have as much as other communities, that we need to make sure that these kids have that ability to be able to escape from their particular situation. Some of their situations are dire or not as great, so they choose to use gaming as that outlet. At least some of them will go out to the streets, but then that's the whole trying to get them with gaming with some sort of extracurricular activities and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Another use of gaming for good.
Yeah, for sure.
So you come back from deployment and from literal war with this idea about utilizing gaming to build community and as a way to escape. So what's your next path as far as gaming and esports is concerned?
Yeah, so it's a little personal, but I'll share it here. I got out my first 4 years, got out of the military, had a break in service, and then went back in. I got kicked out of my second enlistment because I popped a marijuana test while I was enlisted, right? That kind of shot everything down the drain for me, right? And I had to go from California back home, kind of start everything anew again. And when I came home, mind you, I went to the Marine Corps in 2003, came back home 2011, almost a decade later. And then I come back and everything's still the same in Waterbury. Nothing has changed at all whatsoever. You have more churches, more liquor stores, more nonprofits, and it's still the same situation, if not worse, right, than when I left. So I started, seeing what I could do. I went back to my church that I grew up in, and it wasn't until we did like this fundraiser where every department in the church, like the youth, the adults, the women, and the young kids had their own ideas for doing a fundraiser. And me and my brother decided, why don't we do an esports tournament as a fundraiser? We had 2 weeks of marketing this tournament, right? We had no flyers, nothing. We just tossed it up on social media and told our friends. We had a turnaround of like 50 kids that turned out to play. They brought their own Xboxes, they brought their own Nintendos, they brought their own stuff to be the monitors. They just set up. My brother worked at Coco Key. He set up the entire room for us to be able to host the tournament. We didn't know anything on what to host. We were hosting 3 different games in one tournament, right?
Ambitious.
Super Smash, NBA 2K, and Halo. We're like, holy cow, we don't know how to run any of this.
And Rainbow Road?
No Rainbow Road. No Rainbow. We don't want fights.
Yeah.
We don't want fights in there, right? So like after that, and we saw that it was such a success, we were able to like get like $1,000 worth of donations that went off to some missionaries to help build schools like on the other side of the world. And we're like, wow, this is also a source of income that we could use, right? And that's kind of like when we start, like our heads started toiling with this idea of what are we gonna call it? What are we gonna do? How are we gonna capitalize off of this? Like, what's going to happen moving forward? And then that's kind of how Brass City Gamers was born, right? Like in the middle of our living room, coming up with names and trying to come up with ideas on how this is going to be sustainable over time. So 2014 was kind of like the birth of Brass City Gamers.
That's amazing. It's a really cool origin story.
Yeah, for sure. It works.
I think if I were going to run a tournament, not knowing a ton, I would probably also have multiple titles, but probably fewer friends show up.
It was all clear to me. There was one thing I didn't know, and for our viewers, I think you should explain this. What is you might have dated yourself, Hector. What's a CRT monitor?
Oh man.
Could you describe it?
Portal to greatness.
I could do a whole podcast on CRT.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know.
Melee.
Oh man.
I don't actually know.
So a CRT monitor is not flat. First of all, like our regular.
Wait, it's a tube TV?
It's a box. It's like a GameCube, only like 3-4 times bigger.
And
right?
that much
With a
heavier
monitor.
too.
Right. And
It's
you
just
would
regular
have
TVs from my youth.
you would
Okay.
have the yellow, red, and white prong that you would plug in your video into, and then you just go
Heavy.
off. Yes, it's very heavy.
That's how we used to do LAN parties, man.
Yes,
You'd
right.
lug your CRT.
Right, yep.
And you'd have to have tables. Now I'm like, are tables wide enough for this flat screen that takes up like 1 inch? Back then it was CRTs. How am I going to get my no tilt on the keyboard back
Yeah, or
in the
let's
day?
just, we'll
Let me
use
tell
some
you.
command hooks and hang it up on the wall.
Right. And
Those
I'm
have to be
glad that
some
you
beefy
mentioned that.
commandos.
It was,
Really good
I
ones.
just wanted to clarify for any kids watching. We had to work a lot harder back in the day to
Oh,
get our,
yeah, absolutely.
our events together.
Those
That's why
are
we're
e-
all so swole now.
That's right.
Yeah.
All those hours lugging CRTs everywhere to tournaments.
That's
All
why it
right.
was considered good training in Arizona.
Yeah,
you know?
that's right. You're
part of the military
sergeant. So
training.
you were like, "Hey, Sarge, can I bring my TV?" He was like, "What? No, that's stupid." And then you saw how
But it's
heavy
30
it was.
pounds.
Yeah, it's
Boy,
30
put it in the
pounds.
rucksack.
You put
Come on.
10 of those.
Fantastic. All right. Well, so on a lighter note, do you play any games now? And like, what types of games? What types of games do you play these days?
Yeah, so I'm normally a very like one player game type of dude. Like I'll play like RPGs, Final Fantasy 7, like
Yes,
Yeah.
my people.
Cozy games.
I don't know if
We're already at the
Final
lightning round?
Fantasy 7 is a cozy game. It's a stressful game. Cozy games.
Wait, are you doing like the remake or the OG?
the remake? The original was, classic. But the remake and
It's so good, right?
Rebirth, so good. And
Rebirth's
the
amazing.
fact that they stick to the storyline, like, is phenomenal.
No spoilers. I haven't finished it yet.
Folks, we've lost them.
Ooh, we.
This is now a Final Fantasy VII
We're gonna go.
podcast.
As it should be.
Way off the rails.
But right now, I'm actually playing Marvel Rivals. I am stuck on that game heavy. And mind you, I am not a Valorant fan. I've never played Valorant my entire life.
You're the one.
I am the one. Yes, I'm the one that that never played Valorant. All of a sudden, like, play Marvel Rivals, and I'm like, oh, this is an amazing game. The mechanics are amazing, and all this stuff. Well, like, it exists here too, bro.
But you played Overwatch, or no?
No,
So-
no, I'm not
Just
even
Marvel
Marvel.
Rivals.
Just Marvel
You
Rivals.
play controller or
Controller. Yeah.
Who do you play?
Cloak and Dagger
yes.
for my healer.
Okay.
My tank is Magneto,
Okay.
and then my DPS is Wanda.
Okay.
Who's Wanda?
Scarlet
Witch.
Witch.
Oh,
Yeah,
gotcha.
Scarlet Witch.
Oh my
Scarlet
God.
Witch.
Her formal
yeah,
name.
go by her name. I do.
Yeah, it's
because
just like Bucky, right? You mean Winter Soldier?
People say that.
Excuse me.
Like, Bucky's over there. Who's Bucky?
Again.
Hard and dangerous. Oh, the soundtrack of my nightmares.
We were doing a youth program the other day, and some kid was just like, I was in the office, like, working away, and all I heard was, it was a content creation guy. He was like, again. And I was like, I walked out, I was like, what is happening out here right now?
Oh, that's hilarious.
Amazing. All right. Well, I'm going to kick it over to Jonathan here to keep going with the questions.
Yeah, we just started competing in Marvel Rivals collegiately. So we have a post-university Marvel Rivals team that we compete against 3 other schools in the CACC conference. So that's kind of been my my baby these last 2 seasons. Is last season. So last season I brought it to the commissioner, and I was like, hey, we got a lot of schools in the conference. This is our small local conference, so, we compete in basketball and volleyball against these schools. And I brought it to the commissioner. I was like, hey, we got a lot of schools that are now doing esports officially in an official capacity. Let's do something here. And they were like, hey, that sounds great, but we just don't have the budget to hire somebody to do it right now. And I was like, I'll do it. So I basically volunteered to do it. And then, we started last season with Rocket League and Smash. And then this season we added Marvel because there was just so much interest in it, from the students. Like when it came out last season, everybody was playing it. And then it was interesting because I had originally thought that it was going to kind of kill our Overwatch team because I thought there was going to be a lot of crossover. Ended up being not much crossover at all. The Overwatch players tried it and hated it and then just went right back to Overwatch. And then the people who did not play Overwatch, they tried it and liked it. And then they were like, okay, we'll play. There's only one person on the team, on both teams. So it was really interesting. But
Wow.
Yeah, I'm loving that you're playing that right now.
Yeah,
I only have a
I
couple
love
hours myself, but I really like watching it. I think it does take a little bit to kind of understand what's going on, but it's, eventually get to the point where you can figure out what's going on.
Yeah,
and
no,
it's fun to watch.
I love it.
All right.
You can queue with us later if you want.
So you kind of already told us like your origin story of Brass City Gamers and whatnot. So what do you guys do like on the daily? Like give me a day in the life of Hector. Like what's going on at Brass City like day to day?
Yeah, great question. So on a day-to-day basis, really not much, right? Like a lot of the programs that we host would be dependent on organizations in the community that are interested in our programs, right? And or our services. So we have a few listings and verticals that we use as programs. One being the esports tournaments, right? Like we host the esports tournaments. We have a upcoming tournament March 29th with the local Waterbury Police Department, the PAL, the Police Activity League for kids there.
Yep.
We're partnering with one of our local aldermen and Gamers Guild, Robbie from Gamers Guild, to be able to host that tournament. So we're really excited about that. But in addition to that, we also have different programs that we roll out to either the Waterbury Public School kids or kids in our community, working together with the library to roll out coding programs, esports programs or robotics programs, anything that's STEM related. We don't want to specifically just stick to the tournaments, because over time what we've noticed is that that's not really effective or sustainable over time for us, right? So we had to get creative to determine what's really sustainable over the long run as a nonprofit organization that's trying to provide services to these kids. And really it's a lot of planning, right? A lot of coordinating between organizations, a lot of emails back and forth to try and determine like, hey, do you want this service? But it's really difficult at times to be able to get either community members involved. It seems like it's trying to teach them the value that esports has for their children. And there's this stigma that continues to stay attached to gaming about this gamer in the basement, rather than the scholarship opportunities that are available, the career opportunities that are available. So a lot of the day is really trying to convince teachers, parents that this is good for them. We don't really need to convince the kids. They know that this is good for them, right? Like it's usually that conflict that we tend to face on a day-to-day.
Gotcha. So outside of Connecticut, what trends are you seeing, just kind of in the broader esports and gaming space?
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot about the sustainability of the esports industry in general, right? Like brands are starting to be aware that esports in general is sustained through ads and through advertisers, and these brands are starting to realize, hey, we're putting in the large buck of the load for these players or these organizations to host these large tournaments, and the revenue that we're receiving or they're receiving is not matching up. There's no ROI behind it, right? So like I'm starting to see that organizations during the COVID years that just boomed, right? Like right now, cutoffs between different organizations, epic layoffs, right? Like starting to realize that the political climate and how things change in the tech industry is also a thing. So I think esports is in that space where crypto and AI, where there's a high and then there's a low, and those folks that understand the value of esports understand that this isn't just about profit or no profit or ROI, but the long-term value of what we're providing our next generation, right? And those organizations that understand that you're working with kids, right, and not trying to make it a profit or a dollar behind those children, but realize that you're teaching a valuable skill and there's some value behind that, a dollar price behind that, but the overall why is these kids.
I always tell this story, like this is not the only person, but when I first met Roger, a big thing that we talked about. This is Dr. Karamanica from Post University, who Jonathan works for and with, is his big thing when we first met was, what's your motivation? Like, why are, I mean, it was like I was just some stranger who wanted some time with him, right?
Right.
And so we got to talking, and it was very quickly understood that this, like, for me, it was never about we're going to get into an industry and we're going to make money quickly, we're going to make our buck, and we're going to get out, right? And that's why, like, initially and ultimately we found it as a for-profit organization, but, like, it's about the community that you're building. Right. And the people that you're impacting. And I think for Roger during that conversation, was like, what do you, I've been in this industry. Like, I'm here now, and, like, I take pride in it. So what do you want out of it? And it was that community building. It was changing kids' lives. It was, and then that, like, increased tenfold once we got in and we realized the real impact.
Right. Yeah, that was his vibe check. You passed the test. Good job.
Nice. I was nervous, and then we talked for like an hour and a half, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
So.
Nice.
Yeah. That's how you know you did well. If he cut it off after 5 minutes, then you would have been like, well, I guess we're done. You talked your ear off, so that's always a good sign.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, you mentioned kind of trying to convince, like, community leaders, like, the librarians and the teachers and the parents that, like, this has value. So, like, I asked Clint this in our last episode, but I kind of want to ask you as well, just because I think it's such an important question in the space, is, like, if you have a parent, a teacher, a community leader who's, an older adult or just, someone who's not in the gaming sphere, doesn't matter how old they are, and they just see it as a waste of time, they see it as a waste of resources, like, this is not really, gaming is just a distraction from other more important things. Like, what do you say to someone like that?
Yeah, I always battle back with the traditional sports, right? Like, gaming is now made it to the Olympics, right? Like, we're there, right? Like, gaming has changed its point of view, and I think the way that I normally address any teachers or parents that are skeptical on this, I ask them, like, where does your child spend most of their day and most of their time, right? Where's the attention of that child? Because the same attention that we have right now on our devices or consoles or any of that is the same attention that back then we had on our phones, our rotary dial phones, or we had on our magazines, right? And we would spend hours on that rotary phone talking to our friends on the other side, or listening to the radio, or watching television and certain things and cable. So, like, these kids are doing the same exact replica of what we did back then, except they're doing it now with Twitch, with all of these different technologies. So there's nothing different from the content that they're consuming online. It's just faster for them to be able to consume it. So I always battle with them, like, imagine if you had the opportunity to be able to make money from what you were passionate with when you were younger, right? And use it as a source of income to help your home or help your household to at least pay off some bills. You're not going to get rich like Ninja, right? But at least you could have $500 here and there, like, on a weekly basis, depending on how consistent you are in your stream. Like, and what we've noticed when we ran those numbers in our local community is that a lot of kids don't have all of these resources, high-speed internet, or the $300, $400 console, or let alone a $1,200 PC with all its peripherals. So, like, a lot of the convincing comes, one, on the value behind the knowledge that the kids are acquiring from esports, and the tech side of that. Like, how it could translate into a career, not even esports related. Like, this same kid that set up a Discord server to be able to chat with all his friends can be a network admin in the IT for some business, right? Because he knows how to set permissions for end users, right? So teaching them the subtle career opportunities in the esports industry that's not just gaming is kind of the thing.
I've got I mean, it's an amazing answer, and you're spot on. I've got two thoughts. One is, when I was sitting in a town meeting for Milford, and one of the points that was made by the school district about the need for these programs and an improved space in the schools, right, and budget to be allocated for that, was that it wasn't just that they were going to get to compete. They were going to learn the skills through what's becoming a recognized CTE pathway,
Yes.
right? So they were going to be able to do production classes and marketing classes and actually teach skills that were transferable during the day and leverage the budget that was being allocated to create spaces that could teach during the day but also be a varsity sport,
Yes.
right, in the evening. So I don't know. I just think that speaks volumes. And then the other thing that always strikes me is, and I think back to when I played competitively Counter-Strike. I'm going to date myself, and Josh behind the camera is rolling his eyes, but I played the greatest Counter-Strike of all time, the original Counter-Strike.
I can roll my eyes for the camera if you wanted to.
You can, please hit it. Hit it. But what was amazing at that time, right, is I played soccer, and I joined a club team. My parents would pay the fee. They would take me to every practice, right? And I started with rec, and then that progressed, right? So the fees go higher. You're traveling further. You're on teams that are more skilled with coaches that know more, right? But that infrastructure was in place. When I wanted to play Counter-Strike, what did I have to do?
You had to lug a CRT television
I had to lug a CRT
somewhere.
to the local LAN party. No, that's actually not a bad. I'm going to add that to the list. You had to take your setup sometimes to events. You had to coordinate your own team. You had to allocate somebody who was going to be the team leader. This is something that we're doing and kids are still doing it today. They're just able to do it in a scholastic environment. They're helping with the scheduling. They're doing the streams. They're helping set up the equipment. I never put the lines on the soccer field. I just showed up and the lines were on the field.
Right.
So I just, we talk about like, well, what's the discussion? It's like the kids that get in on this space are responsible for and expected to do so much
100%
to be successful.
100%. And what I'll add to that as well is that event management piece, right? Like a lot of those kids that go into the traditional sports, whether it be football, soccer, like you mentioned, that's all set for them. Like these kids go into an esports industry or an esports arena, and they're the ones that are setting up, doing the marketing for this event. They're the ones setting up all the wires, setting up all the stream, like all the tech knowledge and all the cross transferable skills that you just get from that is it's valuable.
Yeah, so to Mark's point, and then also you mentioned this earlier, kind of was like the barrier to entry for kids, right? Like consoles are a couple $100, a gaming PC is $1,500 before you even talk about peripherals and other things, right? So, how important and like what is Brass City Games and other similar organizations doing to lower that barrier of entry for kids whose families may not be as well off, to be able to compete, or even just play the game, not even compete on an actual team, but just be able to play the game? Like, I'm curious what your thoughts are on that, and how we can kind of all put our heads together to come up with a way that we can lower the barrier of entry for these kids while also still, having it be a sustainable model.
Yeah, great question. One of the initiatives that we had last year was working with a local nonprofit called the Young Group Society in Waterbury, ran by Warren Leach. He's the executive director, and we worked in collaboration with him to roll out an esports program for the kids. And we did a pilot program just to see how it would go, and then the kids loved it. And we got some funding from Zenleaf, Verano, and some to be able to roll out the program live as the first pilot or as the first production go live type of program. And it was an 8-week course where we taught the kids how to host their own esports tournament as if they were going into college as freshmen, and their college did not have a esports team. So they needed to get a treasurer, get a charter, get all the responsibilities. Somebody had to manage the money, somebody had to take the notes, somebody had to do all these different responsibilities. And the entire 8-week course was teaching them all the nuances. And the capstone would be you host your own tournament, right? With this particular program, we decided that we were going to use the funding that Verano and Zenleaf gave us to leverage it for equipment for the kids, right? So not just paying the salary for the instructor, but also paying for hardware that the kids could literally use, right? Learn about the stuff that they're learning, the streaming, the technical components, and all of this stuff, and then take them home with a laptop, a streaming i5, right, with decent speeds that they could use at home with their console that they already have at home, and then donate a capture card from Brass City Gamers. So that way we can, for those 10 kids, give them the opportunity, hey, you have the laptop, you have the capture card, that's at least $800 to $1,000 that you didn't have before in equipment. Go use that to be able to put yourself an affiliate for Twitch or affiliate for whatever other program that you have. You already know how to do this. You do it all the time. So that's one thing that we're excited for, and we want to replicate that model to be able to work with local foundations to invest in us, so that way we could invest in these children, and that'll be kind of like the value sticker of some of our programs that we host. Like we also want to work with local internet service providers. Like, hey, these 10 families or these 10 kids that are attending our program, like, they don't have internet service. They can't afford high-speed internet. This kid needs at least 20 or 30 megs upload and download to be able to have a high quality speed, right? So how can you provide them that and then have them sponsor us to give that family a year's worth of high speed internet or something to that effect?
And that would not just benefit the child either, it would benefit the whole family.
Right. That'll benefit the whole family. So who knows, like, it may be preventing the family from getting a job because they can't submit resumes, things like that, right? So yeah, we're looking at really good initiatives for this year and for the upcoming year. And that's one of the ways that we try and, like, break those systemic barriers for our residents to just, things that are expensive and that barrier to entry. Let's cover that cost as a nonprofit in our local community, because our kids are not going to be able to afford it.
Yeah, I think you're so right. It's just all about building the partnerships with those organizations that have similar goals. Right. So important.
Right.
So what trends do you see, and what do you wish we could do more of in Connecticut specifically, like in regards to that, or just gaming in general?
Yeah, Connecticut's a weird space because I feel like we're right there dab in the middle of Mass and New York, and I feel like my entire time in Connecticut, like, if I have to do anything fun, I have to get out of Connecticut, right? Or specifically
you been to
Waterbury.
Esports?
It's true, and Waterbury in particular doesn't have much of a channel for youth to be able to put out their aggression in. Right, or to channel out anything that they've been dealing with out into the world. Like, they don't have many youth activities. They have a lot of youth programs and nonprofits that target the families, but they don't have a lot of fun things to do, right? A lot of things that are just joy and soulful and happiness, right? And fun. Like, you don't have that. Esports programs in Waterbury don't exist. We have to go into other outer cities, right? If we want to have fun or check out a sports scene, like, unless we're going to go to the Hartford Yard Goats up there, like, we could go see the New York Yankees or whatever, like, in New York, or go into Mass to check out Boston. But there's no local attractions here. Nobody goes to Connecticut and says, I want to go to Connecticut for X.
We've got 2 casinos and some yard goats.
Yeah, right. Right. So,
and again, if you're in Waterbury, your family's there, you might not have the means to do what you even want to do in Waterbury.
Right.
So how are you going to get to the Yankees?
Right. You don't. Yeah. You don't. Right. Like, you have a lot of these folks in Waterbury that are just unemployed. Right. A large portion of our youth or our families in Waterbury are unemployed. A large portion of them are not even educated or have received a bachelor's degree or master's degree in our city. Right. So there's that gap of education there, right? There's the gap of employment opportunities there, right? So if somebody wants to leave and just look for other opportunities and other fun moments outside of the city, they can't because they're just binded to there. So what turns out is all this petty car theft, all of these gunshots, all of this violence, all of these things from kids channeling out in negative ways rather than positive ways, right? And you may have 50 million programs that target these kids, but at the end of the day, if you're not putting any joy into their lives when all they experience is chaos when they're home, chaos when they go to school, and then back and forth, like there has to be a give and take there, right?
Yeah, and I think I probably speak for everybody in this room. We've been talking a lot about gaming for good, and that's like really nice to talk about. But when it comes to like where the rubber meets the road, I know this group in here, the broader group that we have as hosts for this show and supporting Connecticut Esports, like we're here for you. You're doing amazing work in Waterbury with Brass City Gamers and more broadly. I have a tendency to overcommit, but I cannot tell you how much. Like just listening to you talk, it's like, what can we do, right, to provide those resources? So I know we've spoken a bit, but I'm going to speak for everybody in here. We're resources to you, and we want to see Waterbury. We want to see Waterbury succeeding in the same way that other locations are.
I appreciate it.
And we'll do what we can do to put those resources forward.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Well, you're the one doing the work, man. You're doing great work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to come out of what you just said is, programs that come from the heart, that are joyful, that, really have it geared towards focusing on the positive. I think a lot of the times you hear this phrase of like, keep the kids off the street, which, that's all well and good, but I think that's focusing too much on the negative side of it, right? Like, let's, instead of talking about what we don't want them to do, let's talk about what we do want them to do,
yes,
right? Like,
100%.
and kind of go from there.
Yeah,
Right.
I think also there's an element, and I don't know, not super familiar with Waterbury and the types of nonprofits that are offering services there, but I know in communities like Newtown, programs for children are very, 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 very skills based, and like, how are we going to prepare them for stuff, and they have to learn things, and like it does suck some of the joy out. And like kids, when you're 11, 12, 13, 14, you don't want to learn a skills based curriculum and core competence. Like you just want to have fun.
Yeah.
And play is still really important for kids of that age. And I think as adults that are maybe a little obsessed with education and where they're going to go, like we lose sight of the fact that they need to have fun. And yeah, they got to play.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. And a lot of our programs are about that, right? Like at the end of the day, it's tailored towards joy while at the same time giving those core competencies and things like that, right? Like some of the other programs we host, we have a content creation program, AI for adults, AI for children, online safety for adults, online safety for children. Like we posted something on Instagram about ways to keep your kids safe on Roblox. Right?
That's important.
Roblox, like every
Yeah.
kid is playing
It's the Wild
Roblox
West.
right now,
That-
right?
Roblox.
that's
Like-
spot on.
Like,
Yeah.
come on, dude. Like, there's predators in Roblox, right?
Yeah.
And some parents just allow their kids to play Roblox. There's no
oversight.
oversight on
Yeah.
that game at all whatsoever. Anybody could develop whatever they want. So you have this 8-year-old or 7-year-old going out there playing this game and slashing bodies in the game, right? And their parents have no oversight or know what they're doing, right? So like there's a sense of education that we have to both give, not just the children, but the parent as well, and teach them like it's not about just fun and games. Like this is your kids' digital citizenship, that whatever they may do here right now in this online platform is going to affect them for the rest of their lives potentially, right? And we've seen that with the trends of social media and things like that.
Yeah, I think it's a hard balance to, and the Roblox is my least favorite thing. bar none. Sorry for anybody I've upset. But because of
Mark's
that, right?
hot take.
Yeah, it's my hot take of the
Roblox
day.
sucks.
It's not going anywhere, and it sucks. But it's definitely a concern. But it's also like a fine line of like, don't fear the internet and esports, but you have to be cognizant. You have to be aware. You have to understand what the risks are as a parent.
Right.
But that's like it's a really hard balance because they want to default, like, because a lot of times, you know, the parents we come into touch with are they're mortified of what's happening, and then you have others that are kind of like not as in tune, right? And it's like, where's the middle ground where it's like, well, why don't you play with them, or why don't you understand the parental controls, right? And what can happen within the game. So I think you're spot on. I would love to see that course. I'd love to bring you in to talk to our parents.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
I think it's super valuable.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and Roblox specifically too. It's so easy to make a new account. You don't even need an email.
Right.
You literally
Takes
just
2 seconds.
type.
Just-
Yeah.
yep.
Like I remember.
I think a name and a birthday, right?
That's
all?
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I remember one kid. It was at one of our camps one time, and I noticed that like he had a different like username every time I saw him online. I was like, hey, why do you keep changing your name? He was like, oh, I never remember the password that I set, so I just make a new account every time I sign on.
I play.
I was like, wow, that's
way too
dedication,
easy.
I guess.
Well, I actually think that.
But then
that
I
Roblox,
watched him, and he made a new account in like 30 seconds. I was
Yeah.
like, wow.
Yeah, Roblox was designed for geriatrics like myself who can't remember passwords.
Or kids.
Yeah, it's a concern.
Roblox target audience. 8-year-olds
It's
and
me.
Kate.
It's me. I'll be on Dress to Impress if you need me.
Too funny.
Yeah. It's so important, though, to get back to your point about online safety. It's so important. Like, a lot of, I think, parents are under the illusion that all screen time is created equal, which that is definitely not the case, right? And I think a lot of parents do kind of understand that, but only in this vague kind of ethereal way. They don't really get down into the, excuse my pun, brass tacks of what is actually happening in this game that they're playing. What guardrails are in place within the game itself? What guardrails and boundaries can I, as a parent or administrator, set for these kids to make sure that, you know, they're being safe? And what the risks even are. A lot of the times the adults don't even understand, like, oh, well, what does it matter? They can't like physically harm them. They're on the screen, but they don't understand like the information that can be shared, the psychological damage that can happen. Whole relationships can form with absolutely no clue from the parent that it's even happening. And the kid could be under a completely false story that they're being given about this person, and they could be trying to do something nefarious, right? So we don't know, not to like scare everybody, but it's just more about the fact of like, you need to sit down and do the research and figure out, okay, my kid's not just on his iPad, my kid's not just watching TV, my kid's not just whatever. What are they watching? How long are they watching it for? What are they playing? How long are they playing it for? Who are they playing with? How are they communicating? Are they voice? Are they text? Are they, emotes? Whatever. Like, what's the objective of this game? And like, actually get into the details of what makes each game tick, and then like try to kind of steer them in the right direction from that point. But do you have like I guess leading up to my question to you is, do you have a standard spiel that you give to like specifically, I'm really talking about parents here, because they're the ones who are with their kids the most in these types of situations. Do you have like a standard pitch that you give them about like just online safety or like gaming safety in general?
I think it depends on the conversation with the parent a lot of times, because as you mentioned, Mark, excuse me, there's different parents that will be like, nah, like my kid just takes a tablet, does what he does and whatnot. And then there's the parents that are like hovering over their kids and like, I am not pro any screen time at all whatsoever.
That was me at the playground today. No slide for
Get off
you.
that
Don't
slide.
slide. Get off of it. Don't jump off the monkey bars. So the most of the time what I tell parents is, you know, you wouldn't leave your kid at a stranger's house that's 2 times older than them, right?
Or that you didn't know how
whether
old
you
they
didn't
were.
know right. But then again, you look at technology and how it has evolved. Like you could say the same thing about kids going into a stranger's car, right? Now we have Uber and Lyft. Now kids will go into an Uber and Lyft and it's not a problem because society deems it that it's not an issue, right? And technology does. So this technology allows these children to be able to interact and engage with other individuals in a certain type of way, and teaching the parents that, hey, if you wouldn't leave your windows or doors to your house unlocked and you wouldn't let your kid out to some stranger that you have no clue who they are or what they're doing with your kid, then you would do the same about their digital citizenship, teaching them, learning. And a lot of times, like, kids, especially Gen Z, like, who grew up in this technology, right? Like, they want, like, their parents engaged. Like, I don't know how many times my 3-year-old will come up to me and tell me, you know, play with me or whatever. Or some of these kids, come watch this, right? Or some of these kids would say, hey, look how many kill shots I got, or look how many viewers I have, and look how all this, that, and the third, right? And even growing up, I would play Zelda Ocarina of Time, and I would want my mom, like, hey, look at this level that I finished the water temple. Holy cow, like, this was one of the biggest accomplishment in my life, right? Like, I want my mom to be there and look at me, or my parents to be there and see this accomplishment. But because our parents are always thrashing them, right, and telling them this is a waste of time, this is this is that, they tend to isolate themselves from the parents and say, you know what, because mom doesn't like or dad doesn't like X, I'm going to only do it, like, behind closed doors, right? Or I'm gonna close my door, lock and key, and put my headphones on and not listen to anything, right? And just be there with my online friends. And I think being present in the moment while your kid is on screen time and having that over-the-shoulder moment to be like, oh, look, and learning along with them and engaging
Are you winning,
with them.
son?
Are you winning? Yeah, bro, yeah. Like, or play with them and take turns and like, look, I'm better than you are, right? Like, it requires a time commitment from the parents, because every day, as we know as parents, like, it's a hustle bustle. I need to move from A to B, get them to practice, get them here and there, change their diaper, whatever. But to sit down in the moment and really, like, realize what your child is doing with these devices is extremely important for the parent to be engaged, because if they're not engaged, their children are just going to be influenced by somebody else on the other side of that device.
If you're not parenting your child, somebody else is.
Yes, 100%, especially online, whether it's a game or whether it's a phone. Social media, Roblox, any type of game, any online activity.
I saw this, might have been a post on LinkedIn, but somebody had shared, it was on one of the social platforms, and it was a text exchange between, like, a daughter and a mother. And I don't know if she was a streamer or not, but the long and the short was she had achieved an accomplishment in, mic check, 1 2 1 2. She had achieved an accomplishment in, I think it might have been Valorant, but with ranking systems, right? And it's funny because a lot of us do this every day. Like, you're playing Marvel Rivals. Jonathan, cuts his teeth sometimes at Rocket League and is ranking up in Rocket League, and League is his main.
Up is in quotes. I'm ranking up. Yes. Yeah.
And then Kate in Rivals and League and Fortnite now.
Valorant?
And Valorant. Well, I know Fortnite is kind of taken over a little bit.
I just want that pickle skin.
I just want the pickles.
I accidentally on purpose spent money on Fortnite, and now I'm committed to playing until I get this pickle skin. I don't know how much time I have.
Hey, it's a win-win for you, right? Either you rank up or you're a successful account suppressor.
Yes.
My new career in account suppressing. Folks, if you are looking for a bronze Marvel
or
Rivals
below.
account, if you are looking for an Iron League of Legends
looking for
or
a
Valorant
hard-stuck
account,
bronze
I'm your
account.
girl.
So the mother had sent a message. It was like a text exchange, and the daughter had achieved this milestone. She was telling her mom how excited she was. She's like, I hit platinum or diamond. It wasn't like raid. It wasn't like the top tier of the game, but it was this really special moment, and it just stuck with me because the mom was like, "Oh my God!" So now I assume this was a legitimate exchange. It certainly is what we need to see more of. Mom was like, "Oh my God, sweetie, that's amazing." And the daughter was like, yeah, I thought we could celebrate tonight. And the mom was like, yeah, like, where do you want to go to dinner? Like, it was like this moment of like,
that, yeah.
let's go
That's really
celebrate this accomplishment.
That's awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
But like you said, if she's not getting that validation from mom or dad at home or brothers and sisters, you know, where's she going to get that?
It is so hard to set boundaries with your kids if you don't have a good established relationship with them as people, not just as this thing that you have to take care of, right? Like just getting to know them is something that I'm, you know, transitioning into currently myself. My daughter's 6 years old. You know, the first couple of years, obviously you guys all know, it's like, let's take care of this, you know, living thing that has the communication skills of an alarm clock and
What are you
keep
talking
it
about?
alive.
And is constantly trying to kill itself.
Excuse me, sir. My 3-year-old has it together.
But then as they grow up, they start saying these more and more complicated things and having more and more complicated thoughts, and now they're going to school and they're developing friendships and, you know, developing little rivalries and things and everything that's happening. And if they're not willing to open up and talk to you about that stuff, like to your point, Hector, when you were talking about the kid who kind of shuts down and doesn't share anything with their parents because they're constantly thrashing them, like you're saying, right? Then it's going to be next to impossible for you as a parent to set those boundaries and maintain a good relationship with your child. You know, set those boundaries and have them not resent you and then just break the boundaries anyways, and then you're just in this constant power struggle. It's really difficult.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's that trust, right? Like being able to develop that trust with your kids and your parents, and once they go off, you know, like I remember growing up, you know, like 14, 15, I wanted to keep to myself, right? I didn't want to have any open communication with my mom. And mind you, my mother was very pro gaming in my family. I was very fortunate, me and my 3 brothers, because my mom would always...
Yeah, she got you guys an N64.
Yeah,
Come on.
bro. Like,
You play Wave Runner 64?
Wave Runner, right? Like, come on.
Yeah, that was
Go
a good
crazy.
one. I forgot
So
about
good.
that
That's all
one.
I played.
Dude. That's exactly.
Had to get to the friends.
Exactly. Yeah. So, like, she was very pro gaming. The one thing that she was very strict about was if all 4 of us would continue to fight amongst each other for a game, she would take that console and destroy it.
Wow.
Legit. Like, we would, and then if it was January, February, we would have to wait till Christmas to get the same console.
Wait, she
Right.
destroyed a console?
She would destroy the console.
How many?
Right? Like, we went through a lot of fights. We went through a lot.
That's crazy.
But that's how I got into my IT roles, right? Like in Desire
find
and
the
IT,
pieces
because
and
I
you
would
put
have
them
to
together?
fix and start
my
things and fix broken items. And I'm like, I could still play it.
She was playing the long game.
Half the screens, yeah.
She was playing the long game, just preparing you for a career in gaming hardware.
Yeah, dude. So it brought that that versatility. But then at the same time, it taught me I learned really quick not to rage quit or rage out on a game, right? Like control myself. Sometimes I get pissed, right? Like when I lose a game or things aren't going the same, but then I'm like, you know, a lot of these kids, like, they'll have issues, mental health issues, and when they lose, especially in Call of Duty, like they're just like, outside and they're talking shit to each other and all of this, like, you know, calming them down and teaching them those social emotional skills, right? Like, that's also something that can be learned, but a lot of kids don't have that opportunity to learn it.
Yeah. So like breaking mice is like not acceptable.
Breaking mice, monitors, controllers, like.
What if the mouse still works even if it doesn't make a click noise?
That's an oddly specific example. Okay?
I don't know where I would have gotten that example from.
Pew pew.
I mean, definitely not in your 30s, right? So, we think it's time for the speed round.
Yeah.
Want to go? Let's do it. Yeah.
gotta find
We
that
don't
here.
want to double up with episode 1, which was recorded a while ago.
Several days.
Definitely another
4
day.
minutes
Days.
ago.
Yeah.
So we're gonna jump into a speed round.
Okay.
These are intended to be fast answers.
Okay.
You can answer them as long as you'd like, though.
Okay.
Knowing that we're already over an hour for our episode.
Got it.
But we will also answer the questions. So, first one, I'm going to start, and then we'll rotate for you. So, what would you say is gaming's superpower for our world?
Gaming superpower, imagination and creativity. Really, for me, I think that's really nails it in the head for me.
That's awesome. That was a great and quick answer.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with it brings people together.
Yeah, I was going to say a similar thing, building communities. Yeah.
I'll say it's accessible.
Yes.
Most people can, if they have the hardware, can get in.
Once you have it, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people. That's awesome. Okay. You want to ask the next
I'm
one that we
gonna go next. Yeah, let's go with what's your hottest take on the gaming industry?
Ooh, hot take.
My hottest take on the gaming industry. Oof.
I'll give you examples like Overwatch is a good game.
Wow, shots
Halo
fired.
is a good game.
Halo is a good game. That's another one we could throw in there. Counter-Strike Source was a viable Counter-Strike.
That's viable.
So what's the right response to that statement?
You know, I'm a big Final Fantasy fan.
Yes.
I'm a big Final Fantasy 7 really did it for me. Like, it brought like a lot of nostalgia, and the series being out right there, like that's the cream.
So your
of the
hottest
crop.
take is Final Fantasy VII, greatest game of all time?
Yes.
Yeah, he's going to continue the hottest take. Yeah.
Love it.
I
That's
love
not
it.
a hot take.
It's a pretty hot
Sorry,
take.
that's a what? 50% of the people in this room.
time?
If we ignore Josh, 50% of the people in this room think that Final Fantasy VII is the greatest game of
I've
all
got
time.
a really good
100%
question to
agree.
come up after
100% agree.
after Kate's question.
My
I
hot take about the gaming industry is I don't think VR is going anywhere.
Oh,
Ooh,
Wow.
I like
I don't-
it.
I think
yeah,
it's
that's a good one.
I don't think a lot of people are really going to care that much about it. At least from a, I know there's competitive esports VR games, but it's a extremely small player base and an even smaller player base that plays competitively, like esports level style, and the viewership is also really low for it. So I think it's going to stay this kind of novelty thing that people just sometimes like play Beat Saber on, but I don't think it's really going anywhere.
That's
my
a
hot
good
take.
one.
I have to agree with that. My VR set is just sitting at home picking up dust. Like, and I'm just like, I don't want it. I don't want to get rid of it either. But
Yeah.
That's a good one. Kate, do you have one?
I think my hot take is that I think Overwatch is a better game than Marvel Rivals, even though they're the same game.
Not a hot take. Not a hot take.
Boo.
I like them both, but I do think Overwatch does it better, at least right now.
Yeah, I agree with right now.
My hot take is going to be that Counter-Strike 1.6 was the greatest
Here he
Counter-Strike
goes.
of all
Here
time.
he
Oh my God.
We'll come up with a new one next episode.
Every episode.
If I haven't said this yet,
CS 1.6.
CS 1.6.
Every episode.
On a
I've
percentage
gotten that
basis, Final
across.
Fantasy VII is the greatest game of all time. It's looking real good in this room.
It sure is. It sure is.
The
All right,
goat.
Kate, do you have a question?
Yeah. My question is, do you ever get tilted with it parenthetical if you say no, you're lying? Your response. Blink 7 times if you get tilted.
No. I do.
You do.
I do.
That's so honest.
Yeah, I know. But
what tilts you though specifically?
He's going right to that headspace right now.
I am. when people that you're playing with don't play their role correctly. Like, bro, you're a healer. Why are you all the way in the front?
I'm a battle healer. What's wrong with that?
Yes, but stay in the back and help us out, bro. Like, I'm a tank. Why am I losing my energy like this?
Your cloak MVP.
Yeah.
I'm not a healer. I just want to play DPS, but I was the last person to sit down at the PC, so I got stuck on support. I'm gonna play DPS even though I picked a support character.
That's right.
For me, it's I do get tilted, but what tilts me more than anything is not really anything related to like gameplay wise or skill wise. What really grinds my gears is if I lose because of a technical issue. Like I disconnected or I was like legitimately lagging, not like I was lagging, like actually high ping, or my controller got disconnected at a crucial moment or something like that. Like
They're all the
that's
worst,
what really
you can't
gets
say
me.
it because everyone's gonna be like, sure,
Or I'm
sure,
playing,
your sound cut
or
out.
I'm playing in bracket and I've got my my bracket playlist going on my headset, and all of a sudden just an ad starts playing mid-set.
Yeah.
Oh, that
That's
makes
a
me
rough
so
one.
mad.
It's a
Yeah.
rough one.
I feel
I'm
that.
gonna unplug your controller when you're playing.
Then get ready to have a controller-sized hole in your wall.
So mine's definitely gonna be when, and I think this is probably more new for me, like coming back to gaming, but like when people are like super negative or like it just brings out, like if people are not playing as part of the team and trying their best, like it drives me
People throwing.
crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
or it can be subtle or it can be overt, like
Yeah, yeah.
complaining about other people, or like I just when I play and I'm playing
Yeah,
competitively,
yeah.
like I want people. I
So, like
found
what
that
Hector
like
just said?
spikes my blood. Yeah. No, like no. Let me clarify. If my healer is a bronze 3 and they're doing the best that they can, okay, and they ult at the wrong time, or they're healing the other team, or whatever the mistake is, but they're
just stirring
trying
the
their
pot.
hardest.
I'm just stirring the
They
pot
got
right now.
cheats to heal the other team.
But they're trying their best. Like, amen. Like, I'm gonna send them to the front lines. I'll be cheering them on. But don't be negative with me. Don't bring that attitude to me. All right. I don't like it in pickup soccer. I don't like it in competitive.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I think you're also often in the position of IGLing or in a leadership role, and when people are critical of your play calling without offering any level of solution or advice or proactive suggestion for what the team could be doing alternately, but just being like, you're bad at this. And I'm like, all right, well, do you have a better idea, bro?
Yeah. I will say to that point, when you get somebody who's like, you're like, okay, like let's all 5 go A, and they're like, I think I'm gonna go C.
Yeah.
And there's not
Or
even
they
a
don't say-
C
they don't
on
even
that
say
map.
it.
Yeah, or they don't say
They're
it.
just
They
on
just
C.
like,
You're like,
and like there's
oh.
a mini map in these games. They just
can
you see
see
them
you.
slinking off to the other bomb
That's
site. You're like,
hilarious.
all right.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I think that's probably good for unless anybody else has one final rapid question for Hector. Oh, I did have one if you guys don't, which I really am excited about.
What I want to know, what upsets you about gaming?
Okay, yeah, that's
a
a good one.
What upsets me about gaming? I think this idea that everybody's going to be a millionaire or billionaire, make it rich on gaming, right? And and like organizations like that are high up there will promote it as if that's the case. It reminds me a lot of the music industry, right? When it popped off and then rap came into the scene, and like you start capitalizing off of the artists, but the artist isn't making as much money as the record labels will be making, and the
Yeah.
publishers and everybody like that.
Yeah.
Like the gamer themselves is the artist, right? And I think we're in a space right now where organizations are taking advantage of these kids, right? And the fact that they're young and the fact that they're interested in this technology and this field, and it bothers me that we tend to do this to our children, right? Like it irks me. Like that just bothers me, you know?
Yeah,
It really
that's
does.
a fair point.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For me, it's just when people won't give it a chance, I think. So, yeah, I mean, and this might not be right on the nose for the question, but I think the thing that bothers me most about gaming is genuinely, and this speaks to the crux of what we're building, right? But just, I want people to give it a chance. And a lot of times, people don't give it a chance, good, bad, or ugly, and that's constantly what I come back to as something that frustrates me the most about. I guess you're looking for maybe a negative from gaming itself, but that's my answer.
You're looking at me. Is it my turn now?
It's your turn.
I forgot if everyone
Jonathan's
else
like
went.
nothing. It's perfect.
No, yeah, you guys all hit on some great points, and I agree with all of them. I'm trying to think of one that's that we haven't touched on yet.
Smurfing.
I think, yeah, smurfing is a problem for sure. I think
sell those iron accounts.
I think what upsets me most is when the kind of similar to one of the other points that was mentioned is I think it was your point, Hector, about oh yeah, you're gonna be a millionaire or whatever. I think what irks me is when the if a game developer has a very successful game and they don't support the professional or high level competition of their game title. Nintendo.
Yep.
And others, of course, but that's the worst one. But yeah, that really irks me because there's so much potential there that is just completely wasted, and there's nothing that anyone else can do about it because they own the intellectual property of their game that they created. Yeah. So they have the law on their side, but just because that is the case, it doesn't make it right, in my opinion.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
It's a good one.
That's a really good one. All right.
I'd say nothing, but that'd be a lie. So I think what bothers me about gaming is the perception that gaming is for predominantly young dungeon-dwelling boys, and to some extent men, and all the echoes of that throughout the industry, be it the toxicity that women and other marginalized genders face, that older people face. As I guess an older person, we catch a surprising amount of less than kind comments on online gaming. The fact that on a professional level I'm asked who I'm married to in the space frequently. No one. I got my husband into gaming. He's not he did play some Tiger Woods
That's so
golf.
cringe.
Oh, it happens a lot. It's rough.
Yeah.
But
With
I
the
think
undertone of that's why you're here.
I'm actually cringing right now.
Yeah,
it's bad.
but the root, and we see it all the way through to like moms of the kids who moms of the kids who drop their children off for programming here, who are like, I don't know anything about this. This isn't for me. So just this idea that gaming is for this very specific small demographic of people, and then it doesn't have appeal and value for a much wider set of people. And it's actually, the perception's not reflective of who plays games at all.
No, it's not.
Interestingly, I was looking at a study, but like in the boomer age range, like women outnumber boomer men that play for more than 3 hours a week in
I
video
believe
games.
that.
I think that's so
I
cool.
believe that. Yeah.
The boomer ladies are out there playing and repping for all of us.
Yeah. Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head. Okay, so last one. If you could get rid of one game and you had to get rid of one game that has ever been created, what game would
You can't
that
say
be?
Roblox, Mark.
Ooh.
I will not. I already have my answer. Go ahead, Hector. And then we'll wrap.
If you could get rid of one game,
You have to. It's a you could, but you have to.
You have to get rid of one
that's
game.
been created.
Man.
This is going to be a hot take in and of itself. You can't not hurt somebody.
I liked and didn't like Conker's Bad Fur Day.
That's a really good answer. That's such a good answer.
For Nintendo 60. It was so horrible, but so funny. Like, I had to get through it. And it was like watching a movie that you did not want to watch, but you know that you're too deep into it to just stop.
Yeah. Like, we got halfway through now. We might
gotta
as well
go through it.
Yeah.
And it was just so horrible. Like, if there was one game, I'd remove that one.
That's a good answer. I'm going to give mine quickly, and then we'll move on to the next person. Mine's World of Warcraft. All right,
I quit. Wow. I'm done.
Wow.
All right,
Wow.
games.
Fine. CS 1.6.
There you go.
I was gonna say that, but I wanted to just disappear off the face of the planet.
Vengeance is a dish best served.
I'm like, is it
cold.
hot in here? I'm sweating.
I'm waiting for the trap door to open under my seat. But we're on a couch, so Mark just slides towards me. That's like fun.
Go ahead, Kate.
Candy Crush.
Oh,
Candy
that's a
Crush.
good
I
one.
want those hours of my life back.
just for you specifically.
I'd like a refund on my time.
That's good.
No, actually, though, I would say that stupid game that you always see the YouTube ads for with the guys who are like shooting the things and
yeah.
they're running out.
coming at you.
And then if you
I could play
actually
that.
click on the thing to buy it, it's not that game.
Yeah.
It's
Wait,
a different game.
You clicked on it?
No, I watched a YouTube video about it. That's not actually the full game.
I did
That's
it.
just what the algorithm determined is the one that's most likely to get people to click on the ad.
I do. The game looks fun.
You click on it and you actually download it. It is a completely different game, and that's like a tiny little mini game
I've done
within
that.
the
game
game
itself.
But they've
Yes.
just determined that this is the best way to get people to
Because you're like, I could do
clicky.
that better.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're messing it up.
So yeah, I would delete that game. And CS 1.6.
Good. They're gone. They're gone. But not 1.0 through 1.5. All right, everybody. This has been so much fun. So I want to ask you just one. We're going to wrap here, but I want to ask you one closing question. What makes you excited about what's happening here in Connecticut in the esports scene? Either proud or excited.
Yeah, I'm excited that a lot of folks that are in this industry and are in this space are collaborating with each other and know each other, know who's doing what in the state. And I think esports in general is successful because of that collaborative spirit, right? Like, every organization knows that they can't do it by themselves. And in esports, you literally cannot do it by yourself. Like, you need technicians, you need tournament organizers, you need streamers, shoutcasters, marketing, like all of these different facets of different skills, right? To be a successful esports org. So I think the collaboration spirit behind it is so interesting to me.
Excited. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, thanks for being here.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me, folks. I really appreciate it. This was
Hey,
great.
man. It was awesome. So why don't you tell everybody how they can find you,
Yeah.
how they can follow you,
Yep.
check up what you're doing in Waterbury.
Yeah, for sure. We have our socials, Brass City Gamers, Twitch X, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter X. I said Twitch X. That's the wrong T. YouTube, and you could visit our website, www.brasscitygamers.com. Reach us out there, and love to talk, love to chat.
Awesome.
Sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here, Hector. Thank you very much to Kate Peterson, to Jonathan Martin here, to Joshua Sear behind the cameras making all of the magic happen, to our sponsors, Reverie Brewing, Achilles Nest, and Uncle Matt's Bakery. We'll look forward to seeing you back here. Our third episode is going to be with Annie Goldsnyder of Connecticut Children's Hospital. Super excited for that one. She's doing great things for kids and patients that need support the most, leveraging gaming as a tool for that. So thank you all for being here. Have a great time. We'll see you next episode. Peace.